Ryan Blaney won one of NASCAR's wildest races of the season after the checkered flag flew at nearly 2 o'clock in the morning. Following a 3-hour rain delay in Atlanta, Blaney survived overtime and made a last corner pass to beat Carson Hocevar in a thrilling 3-wide finish. Bubba Wallace crossed the line second, but was penalized for driving below the double yellow, dropping all the way to 29th. Meanwhile, Justin Allgaier claimed his sixth O'Reilly Auto Parts Series win of the year to lock up the regular season championship. And Grant Enfinger finally earned his first Truck Series road course victory at Lime Rock Park. Late night racing, overtime drama, controversy, and championship shakeups. Motorsports delivered another unforgettable weekend. But we start with Ryan Blaney, who won all three stages. His car was really dominant. He did get hit a little bit, like in the final stage, where you thought, oh, maybe it might lose a little bit of speed on the car, but he ended up dominating the entire race. He led 171 laps and locked in a pretty impressive victory, especially with the way last night's race finished.
No, it was. It was a fantastic race. And Atlanta has changed quite a bit from what it was a couple of years ago, where it was just purely drafting. It was 3 wide constantly, couldn't really move. Now the track is starting to show a little bit of age. They've also upped the horsepower on these cars. If I'm NASCAR, I'm looking at that race last night and I'm saying I am never changing the aero package for this racetrack. It was fantastic. It was that perfect mix of drafting, slingshotting, timing your run the way Daytona and Talladega used to be back in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. But you also had that Atlanta fall off that guys like me miss because the track is starting to age. It was an unbelievable race from start to finish, action everywhere. The rain delay kind of dampened it a little bit, no pun intended. But when the race restarted back up with more than half it to go at the end, it was nothing but incredible racing from there on out.
30 lead changes, 7 cautions, 3-hour rain delay, finished after 1:45 in the morning. I mean, Ryan Blaney took a nap in between. Dale Earnhardt Jr. on the broadcast was like, I would have crushed 6 Red Bulls. I probably would have taken a nap. I think that probably does a little bit better for the athlete than just continuing to crush Red Bulls. But Toyota continues to dominate the Cup Series. I mean, 1 week earlier at Chicagoland, it was Chase Briscoe that gave Joe Gibbs Racing another victory. I mean, Ty Gibbs was leading a lot of the race, the laps there late in Atlanta yesterday as well. But Toyota continues to separate themselves from Chevy and Ford. And I know Blaney drives a Ford, but I mean, it's been tough for both Ford and Chevy. Toyota's got their model down for their race car right now, and it's across the board with Joe Gibbs Racing and 2311. I mean, the Toyota cars are doing extremely well.
Yeah, Christopher Bell, I don't know if you heard this story on the broadcast or not, but Christopher Bell, they had to recast his wrist. So what they did was, instead of just taping up his hand and recasting it, he actually had him recast it around the wheel. So like he had his hand on the wheel and then recasted it that way, which is just absolutely insane. This Toyota dominance comes off the heels of some comments made by Brad Keselowski, who's one of the Ford owners, said that Ford and Chevrolet both have their babies. They have their teams. Chevrolet has Hendrick, of course. Ford has Penske, who ended up winning this race. Toyota and TRD and Toyota Racing Development don't do that. They treat all of their teams equally, and that's why you see Gibbs, 2311, and Legacy all performing very, very well, performing equally, are constantly up in the fight inside the top 10 and top 15. Chevrolet doesn't do that. And right now, Spire has been the best Chevrolet team so far this season, even though Hendrick is the one that's getting all of the Chevrolet stuff first and should theoretically be up there. So what this business model for Toyota, give everyone equal opportunity, give everyone equal stuff, and then allow the teams to work the way they do, that has really paid off in spades for Toyota this season.
Let's talk about SVG and Austin Hill becoming NASCAR's new rivalry. One storyline everyone we'll be watching Shane Van Gisbergen and Austin Hill 2 weeks after Hill accidentally wrecked SVG at Coronado. Van Gisbergen appeared to return the favorite Chicagoland by spinning Hill into the wall, and Hill immediately accused SVG of intentional retaliation. SVG denied it. NASCAR reviewing the incident and possible penalties remain on the table. Rivalry doesn't appear to be cooling off anytime soon, but that was fun too. A couple of weeks ago between SVG and Austin Hill. Do we think this is personal, or do you think it's kind of accidental?
This is rivalry week because you had the continuation, at least from SVG's side, the end of this thing with Austin Hill, and you also had all this stuff with Carson Hocevar and Zane Smith going at each other over the course of the week. So this was definitely rivalry week going into Atlanta, and Hocevar perpetrating more during the race with Zane Smith. But I don't see Austin Hill and SVG going much further. I didn't see anything intentional for Chicagoland, much the same way I didn't see anything intentional from Coronado. I think that SVG and Hill aren't going to go too much further, but Zane Smith and Hocevar, I could see those two going at it for a while.
Let's talk about the O'Reilly Auto Parts series. Justin Allgaier does it again. He continues to put together one of the best seasons of his career. He survived a wild Atlanta race featuring 13 cautions, 4 red flags, double overtime, massive late crashes. He passed Brendan Poole and Nick Sanchez in the final lap after the leaders crashed, battling for the win. But the victory, his 6th of the season, enough to clinch the 2026 regular season championship, another milestone for JR Motorsports, which continues closing in on the all-time consecutive top 10 record.
Yeah, Junior Motorsports has been absolutely fantastic this season. I think of 20 races, I think they've won 13 of them now. So Junior Motorsports has been absolutely rolling this year. And the Chevy program may not be working all that well in Cup. It's certainly working in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series.
Lime Rock Park Truck Series. Grant Enfinger finally gets his road course win. He earned his first road course victory, his first win in more than a year, career victory number 13.
Yeah, he had a very good run as well. Landon Lewis also had a good run. Caden Honeycutt now closes the gap to Lane Riggs for the Truck Series championship lead, entering the final 3 races before the playoffs. Annunziata as well. He was rolling. He won the ARCA race on Friday, and then on Saturday was running in second. Got knocked off the racetrack in some sort of scrum going into turn 1, and then under caution coming out of the final corner, his truck caught on fire. Looked like possibly knocked an oil line loose and finally gave way and sparked something. He was actually taken to local area hospital up in Lime Rock for smoke inhalation mostly. But Annunziata had a very good day, and he probably would have won that race had that freak accident under caution not happened.
You think Bubba Wallace is going to win his appeal?
No.
His claim was he didn't pass anybody. He stayed in the 3rd spot. He was in the 3rd spot. He goes over the double yellow briefly. He didn't pass anybody. The rules are obviously you can't pass anybody over the double yellow. Otherwise, it's a lap penalty. You get black flagged. But he claims that he didn't pass anybody officially as part of the deal. If he didn't pass anybody after review, should it still be a penalty?
But he did gain the position to be able to pass by going down there. And you could say he was forced down there with Hocevar kind of moving over. I didn't really see that. He still had about a good lane and a half to be able to go down and try to make that move.
You don't think he's going to win?
No.
All right. Well, sucks to be Bubba Wallace then, because that is a drastic point differential in the Cup chase.
Went from finishing 3rd to finishing 29th.
Yes, that's a tough blow. Up next for NASCAR, they are going to go to North Wilkesboro Speedway, which approaches with playoff pressure building rapidly. The O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, only 3 races remain before the playoff field is finalized. And for the Truck Series, battle for the regular season championship has now tightened between Lane Riggs and Caden Honeycutt. Should be some fun racing in the next couple of weeks.